This podcast is brought to you by Sales Marketplace. It is the one-stop shop for tools, training, and resources to grow your business. Everything you need all in one place, ready when you are.
Welcome back to LA Legends, the podcast where Aflac pros sharpen their skills, share real stories from the field, and grow into the next legends of the LA South market. I'm Michael Fisher.
I'm Michelle Lee. Today, we're talking about something every sales professional needs to master: quieting the noise from headquarters and getting back to the fundamentals, from activity, follow-ups, and closing those new accounts.
We are joined by somebody who lives this every day, Mr. Adam Bradshaw, a senior market trainer in Texas West, New Mexico North region and market. Adam's known for cutting through the clutter, simplifying the message, and helping districts focus on what actually drives growth. Real quick bio: he's been with Aflac for over 22 years, national accounts executive, market trainer, dad of 4 boys, married for 26 years, tennis pickleball for fun, 6 national conventions, has a million fames, and he's somebody that when I first saw him on stage, I was like, who is this guy? I don't know what he's packing. And then all of a sudden, when you went up there, I was just like, this was in our hub meeting in Las Vegas with Nate. I was like in tears and I was inspired. And yeah, seeing you up there, Adam, my God, we're excited to have you today. You are an exciting guest for us. So yeah, can't wait.
Thank you. That means a lot. I know that you guys have an absolutely just an incredible record, and I know even as a market trainer for you, years and years and years ago, you have always been somebody that has been talked about with just incredible ideas, incredible processes. So I've watched from afar and been a little jealous. I'm not going to lie.
It's a mutual respect, Adam, and there's a reason why Michelle and I we picked you as our first market trainer to have on the podcast. So this is a big one for us.
Well, I sure do appreciate it. This is certainly an honor for me.
Anytime Adam Bradshaw's on a call, I know it's going to be a good time.
Heck yeah.
We have our Friday trainer calls. I'm like, is Adam on the call? I know I was going to be cracking up, having a good time. He brings a lot of levity to some of the stuff that gets daunting, some things we have to do sometimes, and goes right into what we're going to talk about, which is understanding and quieting the noise. I think, coming from where all 3 of us sit today, there's a lot of distractions that we get coming from the top down. Distractions that we're associates, districts, and regions. We're like, wait, what do I need to actually focus on? So when we say noise, Adam, what does that actually mean to you? 22 years in the business, right? How does it actually show up in the field side of things?
Yeah, there's a lot of noise. I mean, some people call it noise. Some people call it the flavor of the month. There's just a lot of things that are always coming down. And at the end of the day, as a market trainer, as a market team, we're really responsible for a small handful of things. And that's making sure that we've got associates that are being developed and growing new accounts, and making sure that the accounts that we have are happy with us and continuing to flourish as well. And so anything that comes down, a lot of times when you look at it, whether it might be the value-added service, dental and vision, all these different things that come down, they're good things and they support the things that we're trying to grow. However, if we get too focused on it, where that's all we're talking about, it's real easy to lose the main message of what we're trying to do. And so I always try to keep what that core 3 for me is just continuing to, does dental and vision fit into new account growth? Well, of course it does. Does it, fit into, agent development? Certainly will, and it can, but keeping the main thing is really important. And if we don't do that, we can easily get through a quarter or 2 quarters and find out we did really great at something, and then on that core 3, we really kind of bomb that, and that's the last thing we want to do.
Absolutely. It doesn't happen quickly.
No.
Like, for us to see the effects of what happens and being that distraction shows up 60 to 90 days later, and then it's already too late to pivot because it's down the line for that as well.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting start out here. So almost 12 years ago when I started in Texas West, we had, Mike, you remember this guy, Bobby Clark, who was the trainer out here. And we were the worst in the entire company in Everwell usage. we were the worst. I mean, we were still trying to sneak our way into using Smart App, using paper apps, anything except using Everwell. And so in that case, you know, I mean, it was an embarrassing black eye for us. And so concentrating on that, making sure that, it was a slow burn. It wasn't something like you said, Michelle, that turned overnight. Working individually, working in groups, just continuing to give the message and showing people how to do it was just something that was crazy. And then literally within a year from when we started that, we had the best usage of any market in the
Yeah,
country. And so we've tried to take that same philosophy, whether it was, we kind of did the same thing when value added services came out, specifically for us, MeMD, when those
mhm.
first came out. The only thing that we didn't do a good job of, and it was completely on me, was dental and vision. But you can bet we're going to be coming in hot going into next year because it's something that I really feel like that the company has worked out the kinks. And ever since we've gotten SkyGen in there, from a cleanup standpoint, ours is pretty much gone away. So that's really nice.
You talked about when you guys are implementing something, and I think that this is something that a new associate, DSE region, they should always have a frame and a filter that they're putting those through. So, what were those three that you were talking about? Can you repeat those, Adam? I think I got two of them down, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So for me, the three core that I'm always trying to stick within is, new associate development, new accounts, and then, our existing business.
nice. So if it doesn't check those three boxes, it's not coming through.
No, it's not going to do it. And,
Mhm.
I know that there's some things like, when you think about how we did in value added services, I mean, that was a very, very easy door opener. I mean, there's a lot of companies now that offer value added services. And we've got some extra ones that we can offer now that are really awesome. But now that we can offer dental and vision, when it comes to platforms, I mean, that's something that we really it was something that wasn't Texas West for the longest time. It was, we're going to do it face to face. We're going to do it on Everwell, and that was it. But now that the business has changed so much in the last few years to where we have to use technology, again, for the technology training, what is that really feeding? Well, it's, I don't talk to that about associate right away. But, for new accounts, that is definitely something you need to understand and they need to be able to navigate it as well as, the veterans as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it.
I love that. I think that's a great takeaway even for me to think about the noise that comes through. If it doesn't fall into one of those three buckets, which I would say most of it does, but a lot of times when there's more than, I think, three coming at us at once that they're trying to just, get out, if it just to run it through that lens, if it doesn't fit, maybe we don't lead with it going in.
Mhm.
I get distracted when I come back from, our conferences. I'm like, "Hey, Michael, look at all these shiny
Oh, I do the
things."
same thing, Michelle. I do exactly the same thing. It's like all these ideas are so great and I want to implement them right away. And do you remember when we had to do that teach back not too terribly long ago for sales school pieces? I mean, I watched, I'm not kidding, every video they put on Aflac Demand strictly for the purpose of getting ideas and got some fantastic ideas, but I've been sprinkling them in a little by little because, I mean, if I implemented every one of them right away, it would probably be a train wreck. The speed of the game has just changed so much. It used to be so easy, to go out and, work new accounts and, do all the things that Aflac was bringing in. Well, Aflac is just doing a great job of piling on additional things that we can use. Our
Mhm.
job, to me, is really to be a filter. You guys may be able to take all of them at one time and run with them great. But for us, we're just not. We never have been. And so we pick something that we know is going to feed one of those three buckets and hopefully more than one, and then get better at it. We'll use stuff like Adobe Express. We've used videos in the past, just changing up the media that they get so it's not stale. If I'm sending text all the time, don't forget about, or have you talked about, something like that, it just all of a sudden it becomes white noise.
You're right, man. Hitting him on the different mediums, and then also, it's one of those things as well when you're talking to the team, you could feel yourself getting stale, and you're like,
Right.
"Oh no, I'm tuning myself out while I'm talking. This is Like, I'm not even excited about this. That's the worst. Like, that yeah, I can totally see that, man. You're talking about those three core principles. New associate development, new account development, existing book. So when a new associate is brand new, trying to look and prioritize all of the things that we're throwing at them, and we of course are trying to filter, and we still do it. We still absolutely destroy these poor souls right
Yep.
away. Like I do it. It's the worst. Like
Guilty.
I have this family member that like just started like a few months back. I'm like, oh my God, I'm ruining you. And it sucks. Well, what are some of those like non-negotiable daily activities that you're funneling down that you've seen over the last 20 plus years that it's like that's what they should be focused on?
Well, it really starts in sales school for me. So we probably do ours a little different than most. And so we'll have we do, first of all, a 2.5 day in-person sales school. And our area spans a lot of Texas. And so when we bring them in, my main thing that I told them when I first got here is that we will never bring them in from like El Paso, 5, 6 hours away, and them feel like that they wasted their time. And so to me, that's a big guiding principle for having any kind of in-person training. And so it starts to me with
Yeah.
sales school. So when we come in, we'll have a little bit of time where they get the overview, a little bit of history of Texas West, that kind of thing. But the majority of the time that they're here, they are role playing cold calling. They are role playing the DM conversation, and we actually have a contest at the end for whoever, and our market coordinator here was a decision maker for literally 16 years. So she's really good at it. So we'll have a contest at the end, and, whoever wins, at the end of the day, everybody wins because everybody gets really good by the time we're
And they're
done with
practicing.
lots of role play. So for me, it starts with that. When they're in sales school, my main thing is I want them to leave confident that if their DSC can't, be with them cold calling that day, or they can't, for some reason, something happens in their family and they can't be on that DM. These guys feel absolutely 100% confident that they could do it themselves. So once they get out in the field, it's just rinse and repeat. The things that we did there, it's going to be so much easier doing it out there than it is in here with 15 people staring at you. So it's always easier out there than it is in sales school. And it's designed that way. It may be different for everybody, but in the morning, people are typically in a better mood. So let's get out there and get our calls done that day, try to be efficient about it. Let's don't drive all over and at the end of the day say that we had 9 walk-ins. Let's make it efficient, spend some time organizing it. And then in the afternoon, if we know that 80% of our DMs that we get are going to take about 5 follow-ups in order to get it, then let's use the afternoon to come up with some creative follow-up stuff. And that's something else that we replicate in sales school as well. I'll have them write a handwritten letter. I'll have them send an email. If they can get our market coordinator to say, wow, that was really good, it's really heartfelt, this hit me because of whatever, then mission accomplished. If they can do it here, I know they can do it out there. So that's kind of the philosophy behind it.
Yeah, I just heard a couple. I mean, it's one of those that even if it's as an associate that's not in sales school that are, even with their peers at their office or of making that practice like a pressure
Yeah.
cooker, you not letting each other off the hook. Like do it where it is to the point of the breakdown. And, because then you can build up from there because it's better to have the breakdown when you're with your peer and somebody that, also that's taking their career seriously than doing it on a prospect. So that I love. I also love the getting the calls in early and, follow up afternoons. I mean, it's just get it get it done. I mean, it's kind of like going to the gym in the morning. It
Exactly.
feels good when you just like yeah, like your whole day is good when you're done prospecting by like done knocking on doors by 11 or 12. It's like hell yeah, like I feel fantastic.
And it's weird how it works. So what I used to do, but whenever I'd go out with an associate, I have 2 days. First day, we would do it the way that they want to do it, which a lot of times that would mean,
Mhm.
and with good intention, we'd be driving all over the place and I wouldn't say a whole lot. And then the next day we would do it different. We'd literally go outside of whatever office we were in, go down the street and just hit 15 in a row. Make sure they know how to use a do not contact list so we're not making folks mad. But it's crazy to me that, you could go out and literally see 20 people before noon, and you're probably going to get a DM or at least an appointment or two out of that. And then the afternoon, maybe you had one that was just really a jerk to you or whatever, but there's still some that have some type of follow up to do. And so, walking through that with them, how to do it, it's one thing to show me in class and try to replicate it. It's another thing when I'm in the field and having somebody going through it with me and showing me how to do it. And that's why I feel like not only the trainer position is important, but that DSC position is it is vital.
Yeah.
It goes back to I saw AP last week, and that teach them, show them, coach
Oh,
them.
yeah.
And in the classroom, when I talk about this a lot, where in classroom, we're learning skill set right, in the classroom setting. But on field days, because when we break down sales school is over 2 weeks, 4 in-person classes. There's a field day in between. That's the practical side, which you learn in class and actually put it out in the field as well, which is so important. I love what you were saying, how like in that 2.5 days is for a lot of role playing to build up confidence more than anything. And I think as most trainers, if our new associates can feel that lift by the time they leave, we've done our job.
Do you want to distinguish yourself from everybody else in the competition? Do you want to get the absolute best buyers in the country? Do you want to close more accounts than anybody else in the market? Well, use elevations.
The idea is the lens that you see yourself through right now is very different than the lens everybody else sees you through. And so where you see yourself as I'm failing at this, or, Adam cracked me down too hard yesterday, when we were doing role play, and all these other people see, great presence, strong, kind, all these different things that are on it. It was weird because when Jeff Pettit, my market director, when he came in and when he talked to the guys, I always have to leave the room and he's like, what do you like? What do you hate? All that kind of stuff. And two of them almost broke down talking about that one exercise, just seeing themselves in a different way than the way everybody else does. I don't know. It was,
Dude, I'm telling you right now, but I felt that. I was like, that's a classic Bradshaw moment right there. Like, I was just sitting like, wow. Wow. Like, that's, you did that to me. And I was like, oh my God, like this guy's going to make me cry. This is awesome.
It's fun. It's fun though, because that's the thing, whether you're a market director or whether you're a trainer, the one thing that people, are going to have a hard time training us on is that you got to be able to read the room. And I tell the associate this all the time. It's like, I can train you what to say. I can train you how to pivot, when you get an objection or whatever. But the one thing that I cannot train you how to do, I don't feel like, is read a room. And so if I walk in and there's nothing but chaos, you never know what happened before you walked in, right? I mean, we had a salesperson walk in one time. I'm not kidding. One of my kids had crawled up at school into the ceiling, those ceiling tiles that you can pop out. It popped it out, crawled through the ceiling down to another place to get a piece of candy out of another room, out of a candy machine. And we had a salesperson walk in right after I got that call. And I probably wasn't very nice, but you just never know what you're going to walk into. So
that's some Mission Impossible
I know,
stuff
right?
there.
I'm like, this guy's going to be a winner.
Yeah. I'm like, dang.
When there's a will, there is a way, and he found the way through the ceiling.
Well, I'll tell you what, he wanted that honey bun pretty bad, apparently. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I want to shift the conversation towards accountability and momentum. You have one of the best RSCs in her first year, by the way, crushing it in our territory, but also one of the top DSCs as well. That's part of that team. That's one of the top account openers. And we've had Evan on our one of my built the bench calls. I'm telling you, Adam, there are people on that team that still quote him every single week. I see them. They're
just
like,
go to work.
remember when this?
Well, it was at convention, and like, our team, like, we're swarming him, and he's like, my God, like, it's like I never expected this from the LA team.
So good.
He's a great
But
dude.
how do you How do you hold, your RSCs and your DSCs accountable to, quieting the noise, but keeping focus on the fundamentals that we were just talking through, right? Our new associate development, especially. So, what does that look like? And maybe some of our team can get some tips and tricks from you
Well,
as
I
well.
think from our standpoint, the thing that I had to realize as a market trainer is that I can influence who they're listening to 99.999% of the time as the market director. And so I have a couple of different things that I do. Like, for instance, one of the things that we all know that we're hearing over and over and over is recruit, 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 recruit. But what we don't sometimes make sure that again, like with my four kids, four different learners, we want to make
Mhm.
sure that they understand why it is that they need to recruit. So, yeah, you passed the fame line. That was great. We're excited for you. We've got people that are probably going to be going to President's Club and that kind of thing. But it's vision casting. What does year two look like? All these new associates are going to be veteran associates. As far as building, what are we doing to build that next level, to build a good, like you talking about, the build a bench? What are we doing to build the CIT bench? What does that first 30 days look like? And is there, a process for, this to be repeatable? And if there's not, it's never for us at least, it's never a gotcha moment. It's never a, what in the world are you doing? Anything like that. It's more of a helping them see it through a different lens. It's one thing to hear Nate and Chris and all the guys tell us to recruit, but let's play this out. And I think that that's our job, is to help them see, okay, when we get to 2026, what is this going to look like? And so making sure that we draw the picture for them, making sure that they, from an accountability standpoint, understand that 65, 70% of their business that they're going to write in that quarter is going to come from the book. This new hire strategy for us, again, I know you're asking an accountability question, but to me, it's like, what I like to do is build, what are you missing? What are you missing in all this? And so if I actually were to adopt this new or new hire strategy, and, we were able to write X amount of dollars more, how would this, help you personally? How would it help your district, your region, so forth? And so, but I think that that's, I know, Mikey, you did that in your time as a market trainer, and Michelle, you do too. It's really making sure that people understand the why we need to do this. And that's why we have to be so selective in, when you got 500 things coming at you at one time, you have to be really selective, because if everything is important, then nothing is important. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I want to make sure that, we're continuing to build the pipeline, because, we already know your quota is going to go up, 10%. So if your quota is going to go up 10%, there's two things that got to happen. Either we've got to grow more people, or your people that are already there are going to have to work, just as an example, 10% harder to get that number. So, if you really believe in this career, which, we all do, why wouldn't I share it? Why wouldn't I continue to talk about it? Why wouldn't I, provide the opportunity for somebody to, make this a great career? Because, I mean, just like y'all, I mean, we've got people that have been here for 25 and 30 years and are doing well at it. But what we're missing right now, we've got a gap. When we look at the somewhere in that 3 to 5 year range, we've got a gap there that we need to fill. And that means we've got to be good trainers. The SCs need to be good trainers. And the RSC has got to have a clear picture of where we're going in this thing.
Yeah. Well said on that. Start your week strong with the Monday morning meeting. Tune in for team accolades that celebrate success, contests that keep you motivated, and announcements that keep you ahead. Don't just start your Monday, own it with the Monday morning meeting. One thing before we go to our rapid fire round, where you have no idea what we're going to ask there, but is that when someone, um, let's say someone's slipping up, they're losing focus, or they're overcomplicating things. The noise sometimes, does that for us as well. What's a piece of advice that you can, to help them reset their mindset.
Well, the first thing I would say is that you have to have those conversations one on one and in person. Something over a video or something over a phone call, it's easy at the market level for all of us to kind of check a box and say, oh, yeah, I've had that conversation or we did that. But at the end of the day, what I believe that our veterans want and need, as well as our RSCs and DSCs, is just to know that I'm not in this for myself. I'm not in this to check a box. What I'm really here for is to develop you. And if we're going down a path, again, they already feel bad about the fact that they're not hitting numbers or they're not successful. And so let's look at, what it is that we're doing. Is there anything? A lot of times it's just a small tweak. If I can make a small
Mhm,
tweak to what it is that you're doing and we can see different results, is this something that you'd be interested in taking a look at? And and they are, if you're coming in with the right attitude and you're not coming in, with the hammer, but you're really coming in there to help them. And that's what we're supposed to do anyway, in my opinion.
mhm. Yeah, treat them like a human being, and you actually get to know the person. Who would I'm kidding.
Well, I'll tell you what, the more you get to know your associates, your DSCs and RSCs, the more you realize that you don't know a lot of what they're going through. I mean, sometimes somebody may be having a downward slide that you're talking about, and their world at home may be just going crazy. And so my
Yeah,
job is to find out what I can do to help them. If there's anything that I can do, sometimes I have to be patient and understand that they're working through some things at home that are now affecting their job. And so that's just something that you have to, again, I probably wouldn't have said that 12 years ago, but there's always things that people are dealing with and they deal with them in different ways. And for some of us, when you got a lot going on at home, it tends to creep into your work a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times we want to be the kind of leaders that I'll tell you 12 years ago, even 5 years ago, I would always be the leader that would almost assume the worst first about the
Same
person.
here.
I would assume the worst rather than being like, hey, you know what, like, let's take a step back and let's even ask. Let's just start like as a baseline human, having that human conversation, just for like what you said, and doing it in person. My God, it makes a huge difference. And I'm thinking about the conversations that haven't been impactful. They were virtual, and the ones that have been impactful this year, they're face to face, and things come through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Well, it's weird. It's like, we've got so many more resources. We've got so many more ways to communicate with people, but at least in Texas West and New Mexico South, what we have really come to realize is that it's great to have all these things, but at the end of the day, people want to know, I mean, genuinely, that you care. And care sometimes can be a text, I guess, but a lot of them want to see you. It's amazing. I know y'all seen this too. When I go out and work with somebody in the field, I try to take folks to lunch. And, if there's a veteran or a DSC that I can take, and bringing positivity wherever you go makes such a big difference, especially when, people feel like they're getting kicked in the teeth or not hitting their numbers or whatever. And so I was the same way, Mikey. It was like, what's going on? What are we doing here? And at the end of the day, I mean, I just realized that for me and for this market, that just, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
It's not the right way to approach it.
yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Well, I, Michelle, I want to do the first one. So, Adam, this is our rapid fire section, and it's around. This is sponsored by Value Add Services and EMD. Just kidding, it's not. But one day, they'll give us $9 towards our budget center.
Attracting and keeping the best talent means offering more than just a paycheck. Aflac Value Added Services delivers real life support for your team. Telehealth from MeMed allows employees to connect with a licensed, board certified medical or behavioral health provider by phone or video and receive personalized treatment anytime, almost anywhere. MeMD is also available as an employer paid offering. Aflac Value Added Services, because supporting your team means supporting their whole well being.
So, rapid fire question number one. So, Adam, as a trainer, I know you're a big reader. But so what is one book that you have either gifted and or recommended more than any book out in the field or to the people in the field?
Goodness, I've got a lot of them.
You could,
Yeah. I've got a few. Let's see, The Greatest Salesman, one of them. Any of the when we did September Power Week, something I really, really like to do is any John Maxwell book, because
yeah,
those are easy reads, they're quick, they're to the point. Probably one that kind of changed the way that I looked at sales was The Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer. I've gifted that one a few times too. Any Jeffrey Gitomer book I like. Fanatical Prospecting is one that we've gifted. I really do enjoy listening to books, and so gosh, there's a lot of them, and there's so many good ones that are out there. There's so many that are good that will hit you in ways that you just didn't think it was all that great. That wasn't very rapid. Sorry.
oh no, that was good. That's fine.
So, Adam, what is a major highway that you drive all the time? What's the name of that highway?
1585.
1585. So, if you had a chance to have a billboard on Highway 1585, what is that one statement that is, this is Adam? And you want everybody, your new associates to your district, your regions, people that you're trying to bring into the business to see, what would it say?
For me, it would be probably something as simple as "Don't quit." I mean, there has been so many, whether it was my tennis career, whether it was, with kid stuff, whether it was, I mean, it didn't always look great here either. And so sometimes you feel
Yeah,
like you're going through the motions, and sometimes you are going through the motions, but the worst thing you can do is stop. And so I just, it's not only professionally, but in my family, that is something that's a big one for me.
that's amazing. Yeah, that's a good one.
Simple. Don't quit.
Yep. All right. And then one person, I'm going to go living right now. One person living across the world, any person, famous, not famous, that you could just have lunch with. Who would that be?
Living. It would probably be John Maxwell. I'd like to sit down with him and just pick his brain for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a solid one. Absolutely.
Great choice. Well, Adam, we want to say thank you so much for joining us today and reminding us that a world full of updates, programs, and the noise, the winners are the ones who simplify and actually go and execute that plan as well. Quieting the noise means trusting the process, right? Learning the system and actually trusting it with daily activity, meaningful conversation, and closing those new accounts. It's not glamorous, but it's what legends are made of.
Absolutely.
Adam, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, to all the listeners out there, if today's conversations gave you insight, share it with someone in your network and subscribe for more. But stay focused, stay disciplined, keep building your legacy one account at a time.